What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Tesla Geeks Show. I'm Eli.
And I'm Anwar Beck.
And on this week's episode, this is the very first time that we are recording the Tesla Geeks Show on video. So you'll now both be able to listen to us on the podcast app or streaming on your Tesla like you already have been. But now you'll also have the ability to watch our faces on YouTube. And you'll be able to find that at youtube.com/Tesla Geeks.
Yeah.
So we're super excited to expand this into video and start serving you guys on YouTube as well.
This week's episode of the Tesla Geeks Show is brought to you by Matt Sells Austin. Our good friend Matt Home. This dude's last name is Home, and he sells homes, which is amazing, but he spells it Holm. He's one of the best realtors in Austin. He's actually known in the Austin area as the Tesla Realtor. He's the president of the Tesla Owners Club, avid fan. So if you like Tesla and you need to be buying or selling a home and you want to drive around in a Tesla and talk shop with Matt, definitely reach out. His website is mattsellsaustin.com. You can find him under the same name on Instagram. But if you just want to bypass social media and go straight and give the guy a call, his phone number is 512-769-1695. Matt, thanks for sponsoring the show.
So, in the Tesla universe, Tesla did something today that was really unexpected and had a pretty nice 5% bump to the share price. Tell our audience what Tesla did today before market hours open.
Mind blown, dude. This announcement came out of nowhere, number one. You guys remember, so basically high level, Tesla raised close to a little over $2 billion by giving away some stock, like 1.5%, I believe, some along those lines. But 2 weeks ago, we all listened to the earnings call, and all these analysts kept asking Elon, hey, are you guys going to raise money? And Elon was, they asked him once, twice, and the third time he finally got fed up, and he was like, listen, where would you put the money right now? Basically, he was...
Tell me what companies I should buy. Tell me who should I acquire. Because do you know something that we don't? Because we'd love to acquire somebody that made sense. We can't find these companies.
So, we weren't expecting this by any means because they answered the question directly. And all of a sudden this morning, we saw, you turn on CNBC and Tesla's raising money. One thing, this caught the entire community by surprise. One person that Eli and I follow religiously, a good friend of ours, Gally from Hyperchange. He's like our Tesla stock guru guy, right? When it comes to investments and things of that nature, we definitely keep an eye out for what Gally is talking about. And even Gally was like, dude, he had no idea what this came out of left field. But one thing that he mentioned that might have led them to change their mind in the last 2 weeks, maybe they decided to raise funds is because of the exponential run-up that you guys saw. I don't know if it's exponential, but basically 2 weeks ago when the earnings call was happening, the Tesla stock price was $580 or so. And it almost doubled over a week. It almost hit 1,000. So basically, I think the CFO of Tesla and Elon sat around and was like, hey, this is probably the best time to not dilute too much of the company and raise a shit ton of money, because there's definitely a lot happening between now. 2020 by itself is a huge year for Tesla. Eli, what do you think they're going to be spending $2 billion on?
Well, and here's the thing. I don't even know if they necessarily have a plan to spend these $2 billion. Well, I think one of the things that's changed since the earning call is this coronavirus. And depending on how this thing spreads globally, could have a pretty significant impact on sales. So why not Tesla raise the money right now while their share price is in an outstanding place? Look at when they had to raise 6 months, 9 months ago. They were raising it a low 200s per share. Mm-hmm. Now being able to do a raise at 3x that valuation. It was a great time to raise. And there's a lot of uncertainty coming, especially with what's going on, how the coronavirus is going to continue to spread and affect the world economy. So I think they decided to pad their war chest in case there's some rainy days that they don't get in a jam and have to raise money when the market is tight. Mm-hmm. So that if they do get a downturn in sales for any period, if they have quarters that they get some losses because the economy took a dump, that they're able to survive that and not have to raise money at a much poorer valuation than the company's worth today. So I think it was a security blanket move more than there suddenly being a new investment opportunity. And we'll find out over the next quarter if the if the catalyst for this was Elon's decided to build a 6 or 7 gigafactory. We'll find out soon. But I think they're just cashing in on buying some insurance.
I think high level, you're probably right. It definitely like takes a lot of risk off the table, having, feeling like you said, their cash position. There is like this coronavirus. There's some uncertainty in the air for sure.
Literally, it's in there. And on the countertops and in a lot of other places too, but it's definitely in the air.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I started all day today. I've kind of been thinking, I'm like, okay, so if I'm Elon and I've got $2 million to play, or 2 billion with a B to play with, what areas am I spending this money? So, the major events that come to mind that are definitely happening in 2020 is going to be, of course, the Model Y ramp, right? But I feel like all those things have been budgeted. Maybe a little bit of kind of like cushion, just in case. Like what you're saying, like if it doesn't go 100% according to plan, I'm hoping they learn from the awful Model 3 ramp. What did Elon call that? Like going through depths of hell or something.
Yeah, he called it production
hell. Yeah. So hopefully they learned a lot of lessons learned from the production hell they went through with Model 3. So, but maybe Elon's kind of like padding things up a little bit, making sure if they need to change things up. We did hear recently, like it's sounding more and more like Model Y production should be happening any day now, like end of March, maybe end of February, sometime by the end of March, huh?
Yeah, Model Y is going to start delivering end of March. I was just at the factory yesterday, actually charging, and I've got a video that's going to come out showing the charge rate I got on the V3, and it was pretty impressive. But right as I was driving in, I watched a Model Y drive right past me.
No way.
Going back into the factory. So yeah, they're just driving around this place, driving on the streets, testing, getting ready for delivery. It was a performance Model Y too. It was a dual motor performance.
Dude, it's been so long since the unveil. Oh, was it last year, March, right? 2019?
Yep, about a year.
I've seen some of these videos circling around. I'm still like, I can't wait to see it again in person. And definitely like side by side next to Model 3 as well. But definitely thinking.
It was exceptionally cool seeing this one, knowing that it's a production car, not a prototype.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that that went through my head immediately, I was thinking, okay, so Model Y, we already know what's happening, but Elon has had a lot of these rumblings of like new gigafactories popping up all over the place, right? So Shanghai is basically done. Maybe they need some money to like finish up some things there, but the big project that's definitely happening in the next like year and a half to 2 years is going to be the Berlin gigafactory. We know that's going to require a massive amount of investment. And we mentioned it on our podcast last week, but Elon has been trolling everybody on the internet about this Giga Texas question mark. And did we already talk about that last week? I feel like we said possibly Cybertruck. That would be the home of Cybertruck. But the more and more I thought about it, I think Austin maybe, they bought Maxwell Technologies. This is my prediction. I think on Battery Day, one of the things they'll announce is not only like they've improved the technology, more density, better specs, maybe 1,000,000-mile batteries and all that kind of stuff. But I think they're going to give their forecast of like just the sheer amount of volume of batteries they need to make to keep up with all these new cars that are coming out, They're expecting Model Y to outsell Model 3 and Model S and X combined. You got Cybertruck right behind there. You got Roadster. And then really the big one that I'm kind of worried about is the sheer amount of batteries required to build these semi-trucks.
They have a lot of battery scaling to do.
Yeah.
A ton.
Yeah.
Especially for Model Y alone. When then you add semi, that's going to use 4 times as many batteries as a Model 3 or Model S. I think like 5 times as much kilowatts storage as a Model 3, 4 times as much as a Model S. It's going to be crazy. This is going to take a lot more power, a lot more cell production. I got to say something interesting about Battery Day. They're going to be hosting it at the Buffalo facility in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we're going to be there somewhere or another. And they're going to offer tours also of the public. I thought that was a very interesting move to choose that location, but I don't think is going to actually play a significant role at all in battery production. From what I understand, this is where they're making their solar roof and some of the solar glass and some of the solar panels and stuff. And I was really thinking about it. I was like, why would they choose that location? I was like, you know what? I wonder if it's just to kind of help bring attention to the public, to let the world know that there is a Tesla facility in New York for people who want to work for Tesla but are dismissing it because they don't want to move to California. That, hey guys, there is an actual big Tesla facility and big footprint in New York. So I'm wondering if that's why they chose that location.
I've been hearing rumblings that there's actually multiple events, that they're separate. Like the battery powertrain day will most likely take place in California somewhere. And then New York will be something different. I think Elon called it like company day or something. It's kind of like a show and tell of like the things that they've been working on.
Yeah, he said the next company talk.
Talk.
That's why it made me think it was going to be Battery Day, because like Tesla doesn't do talks except like at Battery Day. They did the Autonomy Investor Day. They don't really do many public-facing communications that are not these big Elon things.
So you think this is all like one event? Like in April, they'll just have this massive, whatever he's calling it, like company day, battery powertrain. Basically, like explain to the public all these things that they're working on.
That's my take too, because like Tesla does a pretty good job spreading out their media events, at least a little bit. So it would be weird for me for them to have two in the same month and not do a better job capitalizing on the broader exposure and coverage that they'll get from each event that they have.
Back to this $2 billion raise. I mean, to me, those are the main things. Like, it's probably what you're saying, to be honest. It's basically like they're playing it safe somewhat. When the stock price is here right now, this is the best time to be raising this money, fill your, improve your cash position just in case.
Fill your coffers, right?
Yeah, just in case. Like you said, like there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. Coronavirus, and there's just like massive things ahead for Tesla. So if anything, this just doesn't happen exactly as planned, like they want to make sure they're coming from a very strong, their portfolio is strong, from that kind of position.
And it's interesting too. So I was looking at Kathy at ARK responding to the dilution and said this is about 2 billion. They actually figured for about a 15 billion in total raises between now and their target of Tesla for either $7,500 or $15,000 a share. That this is kind of right on schedule and what they expected for about a $15 billion raise over the next 5 years. So this was kind of right in line with what they were predicting in their models.
The other thing in the news, I mean, I think a lot of this just has to, like, I've said this before about the stock market. Short term, it's basically like a popularity voting machine. So in long term, that it's a weighing machine. So, if your company is making a lot of money over time, it'll be worth more. But definitely short term, because of this huge run up that we had, Tesla literally went from 300 and something. In December, we're at 300. It almost hit 1,000 in a very, very short time period. So it's almost like that, like a Bitcoin crypto type run, right? Everybody, all of a sudden, everybody's talking about Tesla. I'm sure you've had this in your life too. Like every single person is reaching out to me. Like one half is like, I should have invested when you told me to. The other half is like, why didn't you tell me about Tesla? I'm like, dude, like, this is, I'm doing me. Like, I'm a fan of the company, not necessarily from the investment side, but, and I hate giving investment advice to people, and then they do it and something happens. I tell people what I'm doing. I'm like, here's what I'm doing, but please don't do anything according to that.
Same here in my world. I get so many phone calls from people who'll be like, because it's just a huge topic in the news right now. And to, everybody who knows me, I'm the Tesla guy, right? So I got a whole bunch of phone calls of like, have you seen that share price? I'm like, come on, what do you think? I've been asleep, I haven't been paying attention. Of course I have. They're like, you got a lot of shares? I'm like, yeah, I got some.
Yeah.
I got some shares. Like, are you going to sell any? I was like, yeah, probably. But yeah, no, it's fun when that's happening, because like the whole world is paying attention to Tesla stock now. Like anytime they move, it's the front cover of CNBC Money and a bunch of other financial outlets.
We've always heard these rumors of, is one of these tech giants going to buy Tesla? When Tesla's stock price went up, they're like, is Tesla going to buy one of these traditional OEMs, which I don't think is going to happen.
We talked about that at our panel this past weekend at EVs and T. That was one of the questions. Will Tesla be acquired by a tech company, and will Tesla acquire a legacy auto manufacturer that's on the decline? And I think at this point, it's a hard no to both, right? Like they're now worth too much money to make sense for a tech company to acquire them. For the large investors in Tesla, it would be cashing out before the biggest rise, right? Like they're a $100 billion company, but their big supporters believe they're going to be a $1 trillion plus company. So those people aren't interested in selling out. And then why would Tesla buy the burden of the debts and unusable assets that Legacy Auto has acquired of all of the ICE manufacturing they have, not to mention buying companies that are full of cultures that don't believe in electric vehicles or understand software. Like it would seem completely counterintuitive to me for Tesla to buy a legacy auto manufacturer unless it was at a fire sale and they just wanted the brand for some unknown reason, which I can't even imagine why they'd want that because Tesla has the most loved vehicle brand in history. So yeah, I can't see Tesla wanting to buy an OEM for any other reason unless they just wanted to waste money.
Yeah. The way I answered that question, I remember this is literally like when I daydream about this perfect scenario, I'm like, so before Tesla, I used to be an Apple fanboy. And I have this like wish, and I don't think it'll happen, but if Apple acquired Tesla, but made Elon CEO and gave him like full control of the company, imagine this behemoth. And with Apple's cash pile.
Apple has so much cash, they could buy Tesla in cash.
Yeah.
Apple has $250 billion in cash.
But recently, the reason I want to bring this up is like, this is something that I've talked about before, but another company came in the mix and really there's been a lot of rumors going around that Google may be interested in acquiring Tesla. And I've seen so many articles on this. I don't know if this is just like this rumor mill or maybe there's something going on, but they're talking about Google could acquire Tesla for $1,500 a share. And basically the reason that people are like talking about this idea, it does make sense. Like when it comes to software, what company, do you think of on this planet that's like dominating software? It's Google, right?
Well, Google's definitely dominating search for sure. I wouldn't give them credit for saying they're dominating software, but they're definitely dominating search.
I don't know, but like their suite of like, Gmail, YouTube, like to me, that's all software. Like they're dominating in a lot of spaces. They're building like a moat around search, but like, I feel like Google, and these articles are basically saying, dude, if even at a high premium, if Google buys Tesla in 10 years, this could be the largest company in the world, outrunning Apple, Amazon, all these other companies. And I totally believe it. I think I don't think it's going to happen because Elon's ego won't allow it. I think he wants to be in control of this company and see where it goes. And he is very adamant about the mission of the company. But
and I think he's right for that. There's no way Tesla would have gotten where it is without Elon. There's no way that they would have the brand loyalty and support that they do without Elon. Like Elon is Tesla. Right? The belief in the mission of Tesla is the belief in Elon. You separate Elon from Tesla and you do not have the same brand. So although I do think it would be a great move for Google to acquire Tesla because that would give them a huge leap in the autonomy space that Waymo has just been dragging its feet on and, they're knuckle dragging still really. I don't see any way that Elon would be at all interested in giving up his stake, let alone the large institutional investors that have, tens of billions invested. I don't see them being interested in giving up their, again, for Google to acquire them, somebody has to sell, right? Like basically somebody would have to give Google to do a true like acquisition, so to speak. The market would have to give up 51% of its shares. And, Elon and insiders have 35 and institutionals have a huge chunk. I can't see the believers being willing to give up their share of what will be massive profits.
Did you see the ARK release some new expectations for the stock price over the next like
No, tell us
5
about
years?
that. What are the new expectations?
So I glanced at it at a pretty high level, but basically ARK, I think out of ARK Invest, these guys are investment firm out of New York. Kathy Wood is our friend, super amazing, smart lady. I think out of anybody, ARK has been in the news recently because it's one of these like, the one person that called the rise of Bitcoin type of thing. ARK called Tesla years ago. They're like, hey, this is about to happen. And their explanation of why Tesla is going to get to where it's going to get to was kind of spot on. So I've seen them all over, like CNBC, they're being interviewed. But this was like, I want to say a few weeks ago, they released the projection, kind of like a new report on Tesla. So the absolute bear case in the next 5 years, and Gally talked about this on Hyperchange as well. Like the model that they have, if Tesla doesn't figure out autonomy at all in the next 5 years, so like absolute fail. So no autonomous driving, no taxi, the Tesla fleet driving and all that stuff. Just they continue down the line with the cars that they're making and the revenues and the margins that they expect on these vehicles. They're expecting the stock price. So again, bear case. This is like worst case scenario in the next 5 years. It's at $1,500 a share.
Which it may very well hit this year.
Yeah. And then
it's more than halfway there.
Yeah. And then the mid tier, kind of like the target price, they think is $7,000 a share. Do we need to make the disclaimer that we're not
we are not financial advisors. If you need financial advice, please seek a certified financial and registered financial advisor. We're just sharing information actually released by a different investment firm. But yeah, I mean, they're targeting Tesla to be $1 trillion company. That's the call that they're making. And at $7,500 a share, Tesla hits a $1 trillion market capitalization.
And then the other one that was like I'm a fanboy and I do think Tesla's going to do well in the next 5-10 years. And I'm a long-term investor. But this is like, if all the stars align, they figure out autonomy, they're making billions of dollars from the fleet driving and all that. They were predicting a $15,000 share stock price.
Yeah, they are. And again, if Tesla solves autonomy and solves autonomy first by a range of a couple years, they will have a cash printing machine. It's get like the difference between 7,500 and 15,000 for ARC is purely based on autonomy, purely based on them being right, or not just being right, but being first and having a period of advantage where they're the player. So if Tesla does nail that down first, which I believe they will because they're the only ones with the video data even remotely capable. Again, here's one of the cool things about Tesla's video data. And again, this is another one of the things we talked about on our panel at EVs and T. One of the questions asked was, how valuable is Tesla and how valuable is Tesla's data? And I think Tesla's video data is actually worth their entire current market cap, because once you figure out the sauce, once you figure out the software component and the algorithms necessarily to solve autonomy, you can feed all of this data into a neural net and make large advancements because you have the training material to teach it. And when these computers can process unbelievable amounts of data, like sequentially, you could just rapidly train this thing once you get solved out exactly how it needs to operate. So I think Tesla will get there before anyone else. The question will be how soon do they get there and how much sooner do they get there than everyone else? And I think time's going to tell. I think we'll have a much better answer at the end of 2020. One of the things we learned in the last earnings call was they had to do a complete rewrite of their 3D object labeling system, which that was actually glad to hear that they've got a new approach, but at the same time, that's also a pretty significant setback. Even Elon tampered expectations to say a greater than 0 chance of successfully going from your home to destination. That's not exactly a lot of confidence that we're going to be turning on street level autopilot and just chilling anytime soon. So let's hope that this new foundational rewrite they did is the solution. And if it is, in 2021, we should be looking at level 3, level 4 autonomy. But if they're wrong, it could mean 2023. So they're solving one of the most difficult problems that we're trying to solve with vision and neural nets and artificial intelligence. And, they are only going to know the strategy that was ultimately right when it fully works.
Yeah. The other, I'll just like high level mention, because again, like the happening thing right now is a stock price, right? So you and I both, like all the questions at EVs and T and all of our friends, everybody's just like, and I've been evangelizing and preaching about Tesla, the company, Elon, the guy, the leader, as well as Tesla, the stock, for a long time to anybody that will listen. And my thesis about Tesla really hasn't changed. Even years ago, when Tesla stock price was nowhere where it's at today, I kept telling people, and I don't want to rant here, but like I'm just going to give you guys, this is like my spiel to people. I'm like, if you look at Tesla as pure like an automotive manufacturing company, it's been overvalued if that's the case. If it's strictly a company that all they do is just they have this plant and they make cars and that's it. So if you project, because if you look at the volume, just the sheer volume that they're doing compared to the Fords of the world, it's nothing at this point, right? Ford sells 1 million just F-150s a year. So Toyota, Ford, all these other dealerships, GMC, they're selling way, way more volume than Tesla is. But this is what I try to like explain to people. I'm like, it may be different than what you think, number one. So this is my analogy. The way I explain to people is kind of like, yes, Tesla is like this innovative new automotive company like Toyota or Ford. But then what you have to throw in the mix is this is kind of a new age energy company. And when I say that, people's mind they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you know, ExxonMobil energy, like this is the new age ExxonMobil. And the way, if you think about it, it's vertical integration. Like you can walk into a Tesla store right now and order a solar roof. So when you put solar roof on your house, all of a sudden your house comes alive, right? And you start generating energy. And then what do they sell? They sell Powerwall. You put 2 or 3 of these in your garage and now you can store the energy. And what else do they sell? They sell these products that use those electricity to get you from point A to B.
You got a Tesla in your garage, so you have the energy that goes from the sun into your power wall, into your car. I'll tell you what, on my last house, I had my 11.8 kilowatt solar system. It felt so cool that I had my car plugged in and it was literally taking electrons funneled through these solar panels directly from the sun into my car. And it's great too, because when people in it are like, oh, well, you know, your car may be electric, but electricity comes from coal. Bullshit.
Yeah.
My electricity comes from the sun.
Yeah.
I produce more electricity from my solar panels in both my car and my home do combined year round.
Yeah. So amazing new age automotive manufacturer. Now and again, the energy business right now, revenue wise, is nothing. It's like 1 or 2% of all their revenues, right? So, and Elon has acknowledged this. He's like, he's been on record saying the energy side is going to dwarf automotive in the near future. I think that's coming in the next like 2 to 3 years, probably.
Once they can get the supply of batteries really going, yeah, there's a huge business there.
And then I didn't add like the commercial battery storage and all that. That's another big part of it. The third mix that you alluded to that people give zero credit to Tesla right now, which I find unbelievable. I don't think any of this is priced into their market cap, is the data. Like Tesla is basically, you can shove the market cap of Google into Tesla. It's just like, it's going to take a little while, but imagine what these, like, how many, I think there are like over 600,000 Teslas or something cumulative that have been made. Probably, I would say a majority of those have sensors and cameras. It's collecting data, right?
It's even bigger. Tesla's passed over 1 million vehicles.
Oh, is it delivered. 1 million? Oh, yeah, yes. With Model 3. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yep. But this year they're going to deliver another 500,000 alone.
So, you know, people don't give credit, in my opinion, to what that data is worth. You explained it exactly right. Like, if at some point, once we figure out level 5 autonomy, that's just software. Can Tesla not license that out to every single vehicle in the world? Why not? The supercharging network, that's the new gas station. Could they not let other people come use it and make a profit on? There's just so many avenues. And I think Elon's so focused on just making cars and doing it the best way possible. I know we sound like fanboys and we're talking about, but like, I just see so much opportunity. Oh, and throw in the mix Uber's market cap into that as well, right? Because once Tesla starts the Tesla fleet, what do they call that?
So it's going to ultimately be the robo-taxi fleet. However, Tesla did announce that they're going to open up a ride-sharing option even before they finish the autonomy, that they're going to offer a ride-sharing type service, app-based ride-sharing service, even just for owners to participate in. Mm-hmm. And I love this. As soon as they come out with a Tesla Uber service or Tesla rideshare service, that is all I will use. because I love being in a Tesla. And ever since having been in one and owning one for the last few years, I don't really like riding in anything else, to be completely honest. So I'm going to participate in that. And heck, I'll probably even try out being a driver in it a few times just to see what that side of the experience is like and make some interesting videos to share with you guys. But let's compare to some other companies that the general public, I mean, the investing public understands the value of data, but the general public doesn't. And that's Amazon. One of Amazon's huge competitive advantages is they can continue to refine your shopping experience based upon an unbelievably large subset of data. Most of us do the majority of our purchases through Amazon, so they know exactly what we want, when we want it, what we're interested in, what we're not interested in. But also, too, they are now the world's biggest threat and gonna be the world's biggest logistics, but also shipping company. So logistics and shipping, because they have more data on where people live and more data that they can use to do route optimizations to figure out deliveries on the entire United States, large chunks of Europe, and eventually the globe. And it allows them to deliver products and service or deliver products at a price that nobody else can compete with because they have such good data on where everybody is, what everybody's buying, what the sizes are. They're pushing all these products out of large warehouses that they can combine things together in combinations and create efficiencies that other people can't even measure. And then, too, they can find arbitrage opportunities in their competitors and figure out where it is actually more expensive for them to ship it than it is for their competitors, and then choose to ship products through FedEx or UPS when they find windows that it's actually cheaper for them to ship it through those windows than it is through Amazon. And nobody else can do anything like this. And that's why Amazon's absolutely killing it. They are leveraging their data at scale.
Dude, definitely. And Tesla is headed that direction, in my opinion. It's a different
insurance. Insurance.
Insurance.
It's a perfect example where they've already taken this data and created another product that's being fueled by it. They know with a large degree of certainty what their risk is with the driver because they know the driver's behavior. They know how the driver accelerates. They know the driver's top speed. They know all this data about how the behavior of the driver is, so they can tailor insurance to the person that doesn't just use classic actuaries and give you a better price while them also maintaining margin. And that's a huge competitive advantage for insurance that nobody else has, right? Other insurance companies will offer this thing that like, oh, if you let us track your speed, we'll give you this discount, blah, blah, blah. And you have to get people to opt in to a technology that has to then be installed in your car. Tesla already has a technology in your car. All you have to do is sign up for their insurance. So they're going to use the data that you've already been sharing.
The final thing we'll discuss this week, was an electric article. A lot of rumor mill going around, of course, about Tesla is reportedly building a pilot battery cell manufacturing line at the Fremont factory. So in addition to what Electric reported, I think Electric caught wind of like they're hiring pilot line production engineering, production cell engineers. So it just looks like, we've like 6 months ago, a year ago, Elon maybe alluded to this a little bit as well. Like at some point, I don't think they're going to cut their relationship with Panasonic, but like, there's a limit to how much production Panasonic can handle with what they have right now. So in order for Tesla to really like elevate and go to the next level, they're going to have to bring cell production into their in-house.
And it's not instead of, it's and. They're going to need every cell they're making with Panasonic and 3, 4, 5 times that. So yeah, 100%. They're going to have to increase cell production. And I think very clearly some of that's going to be internal. Obviously the most innovative stuff that's coming, that's going to allow the Cybertruck to have 500 miles of range, the Semi have 500 miles of range, the Roadster have 500 miles of range, which is a smaller form factor vehicle than the Model S. To do that is going to involve tech that doesn't yet exist or isn't yet being mass produced. And I think 100% Tesla's going to do that themselves.
Our buddy Gally made some news this week as well. He made a video where he was speculating that Tesla secretly acquired an electric battery technology company. Did you see this? In the Denver area?
I heard about it. Tell the audience about it.
So basically, Gally was saying that like in the Denver area, that Tesla acquired like actually 3 different companies. So it seems like they're like very like quietly just like bringing a lot of things in. So the main news is, of course, from a couple of years ago, it's Maxwell Engineering, but they slowly, it's almost like they're feeling that the cycle, the product cycle, they're bringing in pieces from different, but they're doing it very, very quietly. So I think the big announcement that they're going to do is exactly what you said. It's like, hey, we're doing this amazing thing with Panasonic. We're going to continue. And in addition to that, we're about to build a gigafactory in Austin, Texas, that basically is going to double or triple, if not quadruple, their cell production. And a lot of that's going to be in-house.
That's going to be a huge move for Tesla. I think 100%. Whether it's actually in a facility Tesla currently has or in a company they now own, it's probably going to be a combination of that, since the move at the speed that they're going to, I think, is obviously going to require some of these acquisitions. I think that's 100% what we're going to hear next. I think the future is going to be very exciting, and people thought that because Tesla's released all their cars that there's not going to be any real big excitement this year. I think that's wrong. I think there's going to be even more stuff beyond battery tech that we don't even know about, and that includes maximum plat. I think there's going to be other things coming that we don't even know are on the horizon.
Definitely. Dude, yeah, that was a super awesome that we're starting video. Let us know what you guys think. We're going to continue to do that.
Yes. We now have a comment section. So here's the thing. We've always asked for people's feedback. Nobody will listen to our podcast and go to Twitter and tweet at us and tell us what they think, unless they think we really suck. But now that we have a comment section, please tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what you think we could do better. Tell us what you'd like us to cover. Just give us your feedback, guys, because we'd like to be better at this and make the best possible show and do the best we can to respect your time that you're sharing with the Tesla Geeks Show.
And in addition to, we do have an Instagram, Tesla Geeks Show. But our personal Instagram, if you guys really want to follow like day to day what Eli and I are up to, mine is Super Tesla Geeks. You'll get a lot of like inside access. Whenever I go to unveil events, I'm usually, doing stories and all that kind of stuff. So definitely follow that. Eli, where can people follow you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at My Tesla Adventure, and Twitter I operate under my name, which is Eli Burton _. So happy to see you guys there. Love engaging with fellow owners, answering questions. I'm actually putting more effort on my other channels to create more content to bring value to existing owners in the community and help them get the best use out of their car. So if that's something you guys are into, follow me there as well.
And final shout out to our other big sponsor is Evanex. Our friend Matt invited Eli and I to EVs and T 2020 in Miami. Oh my God, dude. What an epic event. That was so much fun. A lot of people there.
It went by so fast.
It went by
felt
fast.
Like we were there for 5 minutes. It was all day thing.
Eli and I were on a panel. Like this dude that I really admire a lot, a big YouTuber, Brooks from Drag Times. He was there. Like I've followed Brooks for a long time. I love his channel. Like I look to him as like our drag racing guy, like he's not only is he into exotic cars, but I love the data that he shows and like communicates on his channel. But when we met him in person, got a chance to hang out with him. This dude is so cool, dude. Like
Brooks is the coolest.
Really enjoyed meeting him and all of our other friends that came out. Model 3 Owners Club. Who else was there?
Marty and Will.
Yeah, Marty was there. My EVs. It was a ton of fun, and it's Miami, guys. The weather was beautiful. The venue was insane. They called it Base Camp. It's something like Matt was telling us it was designed by people. Is it Coachella or oh no, Burning Man. It's got
the guys behind Burning Man.
Guys behind Burning Man designed this complex, this camp. It is like insanity. There's like a DJ booth. It looks like it's hard to explain. We'll have to throw a picture up there or a video from the event. But it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys to Evanex for inviting us out. Just a quick shout out. Matt's dad, Roger, he built a 1/3 replica of Cybertruck that was on display. This dude is like a legend engineer. So I was shocked when I saw it in person. But yeah, this dude, he built Cybertruck and it was right there. And he commented about like, he really like appreciated the engineering design because he sat there and built it himself. So he discovered some things that just like regular people, we wouldn't even think about. Because he sat there and like built this and thought about the aerodynamics and the loads and different things. So it was a lot of fun. So thank you guys for Evanex for sponsoring us and inviting us out to the school event.
Just got to say thanks to Evanex, thanks to Inside EVs for putting that event together. And for everyone watching, thank you so much for following and listening and now watching this week's episode of the Tesla Geeks Show.